Okay, Charlie. Well, uh, here we are. Like I said, we're ready to go. But you yourself said, I mean, it's been a long time. You yourself said, hey, I don't even really remember what these watches look like because it's been so long. And again, I apologize for how long it's been. I overloaded myself and said yes to everybody. And then next thing you know, I was about just under 200 jobs deep. So we're getting down closer to the end, and you're up. So here is this is the February 83 marked watch. This is the June 83 marked watch. June 83 is it's correct. It's a Hong Kong non-Suwa dial with really seriously grayed out lume and everything else like that. This is the one that you were really interested in because it is a birth year and month watch for you. Something you may or may not remember that we did talk about is the fact that this is actually it's a Suwa dial. That shouldn't be in there. So one of the things I want to do is I can restore anything. That's not a problem. This one had some moisture in it. You can see the sunken lume on those hands, but what I want to do is I want to look at the date on the back of the dial. I want to know when this watch was actually made, and I'm going to do that right now. So don't worry, this is easy to reverse. This isn't major surgery. This is me just doing it. Ooh, let's talk about flat seals. Ancient old flat seals. Stem is complete. You've got your stem rest washer, which is super important. Okay. Oh, out. Oof. Oh, yeah, it's got a little bit of moisture in there. Come on, out. No business denying me what I want, which is you out. I like it when these dials get to this point of fade. Okay. So let's hang on just 1 second. Okay. Just waiting for that hand to come around real quick. Well, that wasn't attached very well. Came right off. Normally these are really stuck in place, but not this time. Huh. Oh, damn it. What's also interesting, actually, now that I'm looking at it, this handset, see, it's absolutely flat. The surface of it is entirely flat. Same with the hour hand. This is a 7548 quartz handset because the 6309 handsets did not look like that. They were, let's see if this one's got it. Normally, 6309 handsets, especially in the hour hand, especially on the hour hand, the stamped metal sort of is slopes inwards like this. These, and also the minute hand is going to be a little more round topped, just a little bit. You're going to see that. The totally flat ones like that, that's for the 7548s. So that's interesting. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be. You never know. Okay. Let's get this. I want to get this dial off of here. We are going to see the truth. No one's going to hide it from us. Let's see. So the case back date is 3/2. If this were a matching dial, it would say 3/1 on the back. Oh, gosh, it doesn't say anything. No date at all. I wonder if this is a service dial. No date at all. It shouldn't have a Suwa dial, but you know, it is what it is. Movement's a runner. It's had a little bit of moisture inside, but I've seen worse. One servicing mark inside the case back. You can see it right there. Those little scratchies right up there. Okay, well, there you go. I mean, there's no date. It shouldn't be a Suwa dial, but maybe this is a service dial. In fact, maybe these are service dial and hands. Maybe that would explain why we have 7548 hands in here. Service. Interesting. Okay, so, I mean, we're going to get into it, so that's going to be my theory. That's going to be my theory, is that it's service dial and hands. And we should go from here. Okay. I looked really super closely at the servicing mark, and normally they don't have dates. Normally they're just the... Oh, that was interesting. Are you done? Okay. Normally they don't have dates on them, but in this case it did. July 1995, which I have to remind myself was 25 years ago. So, not a surprise there that it was that long ago, because that long ago we could easily still have these kinds of spare parts available. I mean, the watches themselves had only been discontinued 7 years previously. So, yeah. Okay, so yeah, typical loose lower mainspring arm report. You can see that thing's whipping around. So first let's get this jewel out of here. Everything's going kaboink today. Let's see now. There we go. Good. Alrighty then. There we go. Alrighty then. Looks pretty clean. I don't know how much wear it got after its last service. Well, it doesn't like turning, I'll tell you that. Interesting. That's not bad. Where is your click spring? Your click spring's missing. Where's your click spring? Your click spring's gone. It's supposed to be right there. Where the heck is it? This watch wouldn't have run very well at all. No click spring? That's crazy. Wow. It's not often I see something that surprises me, but that surprises me. No click spring. Actually, it's combination spring and click is what it's called, but who cares? Yeah, it looks pretty clean. Upper mainspring arbor bushing's pretty worn though. I'm gonna have to get on that. hazy too. Fair amount of haze. No rust though. That's okay. Where is your click spring? What in the world is the person thinking? Where is it? It should be right there. Well, I've got others, so that's something. Yeah, pretty clean. Pretty clean. I think it got serviced and then didn't get a lot of use after that. Yeah, I mean that's obviously it's worn down. He tried to close up the lower port by using a coned punch in the staking press to try to close this hole up. Doesn't really work particularly well, but that's okay. We're gonna fix that. Okay, I mean I got to do some stuff. 6 kinds of jacked up. This is wrong. Look at all the waves and the bends. It's supposed to be a nice, smooth, even curve. On this side, you can see they're supposed to be equidistant, more or less. A nice Fibonacci sequence, but no, it's bent all the way over here. So it's going to deliver power incorrectly. God, it's got all these crinks in it too. Look. And it's coned, which means it's not sitting flat. So, junk. We're going to go with a new one. Okay, I am getting ready to finish and do some cleaning. I ran into something pretty unusual. Your crown, it works, but it's the most crazy cross-threading damage I can ever remember seeing. I'm trying to think if there's a way for me to show this to you. Not really. The cross threads are actually shattered off the inside wall of the crown. I've never really seen that before. Hang on a second. I forgot. I've got this handy dandy thing. Maybe that'll help us. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can get this done here. Get this angled. Yikes. Sorry, I'm looking in here and I'm like, wow, what is all that stuff? Wow, that's gnarly. I guess that's the side that we see the most. I'm having trouble standing still. Gosh, this ain't going so well. You can just make out the broken threads right there. Right there in that light spot on the right. They're just shattered right off the wall of the nut section of this one. So it does screw down on the case. Let me look at the case threads. Ooh. Yeah, your case threads are pretty hacked up too. Okay, well I'm going to get a new old stock crown right now, and let's see if we can get a genuine NOS crown to screw down on that thing. Let's see. There we go. Hang on just 1 second. Okay, NOS crown. New old stock crown. Yeah, those are rounded over. Wow. Okay. Oh my god. Yeah. Does screw down. So we go backwards. Click. One. It's like 2.5 turns down. It does do it. You got, if you want to save some money, you do have this other one. Yeah, and that one's got good threads too. Well, I'll run that by you. Okay, so I talked to you about what you want to do. We have a decision now. Good. So now I know what to do. Everything is clean. Everything's ready to go. There is the movement plate. There's your brand new lower mainspring arbor jewel. This is definitely a later movement. So, I mean, I'm still thinking about the case-back date, but we can tell because these jewels on the later ones are just flat. They're like a plate with a hole in the middle versus being more like 3D with like oliving and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Well, let's put it together. I'm going to try to do this. This is the cap jewel for your dia shock setting in your balance. If you look right in the middle, do you see that little shadow, that little divot? That is that means your cap jewel's bad because the balance wore a dink in the cap jewel. So, got to replace that cap jewel. Anyway, that's what it looks like. Somebody was asking about what that looks like, and there it is. Very hard to see. Got to look closely. Okay, so just getting it together, letting the train run. Just for your information, the two screws that were here I have swapped out. These were, the threads are okay, but the heads were all bunged up and pitted, and it's not worth the risk to, if one of these heads, sorry about the noise, one of these heads pops off, it's just, I have the screws, so we're in here, we might as well do it. Why put in damaged material? So now, checking the running after the train, after I went and looked at all the wheels, I'm just checking the running. You see that all-important intersection between the barrel and the center wheel teeth. Look at that smooth delivery of power with a new mainspring. Okay, cool. Let's keep this up. That the girls have stopped fighting. The older one is trying to brush the younger one's hair. It's not going very well. But I think the screaming is over. So let's put this in. I'm going to be curious to see how this does because the guy who worked on this also kind of not jacked up the pallet fork, but he held it in such a way that he kind of squished it in a certain way. I don't think it's structural, and the stones look fine, but that's the first thing I'm going to check out if we have compromised numbers. But for now, let's just screw this thing together. Damn it. Let's see the numbers. Now, somebody had a suggestion, a good one, that if I have to do, gosh darn it, if I have to do any adjustments, that I should talk about what I'm doing while I'm doing them. And that's a very good idea, and I'm going to do that. Well, it doesn't look like I have to do much in terms of beat error. Oh, I forgot to do one thing. Hang on. I just wanted to demag it again. Something I like to do. So let's see again what those numbers are. Okay. So I am just going to move down the. I'm going to move down the adjusting arm, and what that does is it lengthens the. Effectively, it lengthens the hairspring, which means it takes that the beat is slowed. I just touch it a little bit. Okay, and I look a little bit more, a little bit more. You don't do a lot of movement on these things, especially when they're just first running in. Okay, so we have a little bit of beat error. So now I'm going to go to the wide flat, the end where the stud is, where the hairspring is fixed into the adjusting arms. I'm going to try to drop that back a little bit. I'm doing that too when you drop, because right now I'm dropping it. I have to kind of guess. Dropping it just a hair, and I'm seeing what happens to the beat error, and if it goes less. And now when you're adjusting beat error, you're also affecting the length of the hairspring effectively, which means that you're going to have to adjust the accuracy again when you get the beat error to 0. And that's why you always want to go to the beat error of 0 first, get it right where it needs to be, and then deal with accuracy. Okay, I'm kind of going back and forth over the mark because this adjusting arm is pretty stiff. It's not letting me just sort of drop in exactly where I want. Okay, so it's a good basic first start. Now it's gaining some time, so let me go back to the adjustment arm and adjust it down. Come. Okay, so now I'm going to go a little higher. This isn't, I mean, I'm going to go through a bunch of adjustments, so this is just sort of a rough first draft to sort of let the numbers just get steady and have some steady output. And that looks good. I would leave it for that for now. That's a good place to start. And just let it run in. You see the numbers are rising, which is nice. And as the numbers rise, you will note that you start to lose or gain time because it's still settling in. It's still thinking about things, wondering if it wants to wake up. Always interesting to see what the numbers do. It's not real critical right now because I'm going to leave it overnight anyway, as is my habit. Well, that's a nice clean output. Look at that, huh? Yeah, look at how smooth that is. That's good. It's settling in. I mean, your amplitude is, we need that to come up, obviously, but I mean, just in terms of output, signal, and clarity and all that, it's nice. I want to see the bottom of this hit, and then the numbers will climb again. So I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here. Okay, well, let's stop it, and I want to look at some other stuff. Okay, so the water mostly passed by your movement, but this is your winding weight. And you see all that pitting on that outer weight part? These things are made of an alloy, base metals, copper mix, and stuff like that. And so when water gets in, it attacks these a lot, pulling out the copper. And so you can see a lot of the plating's missing and the undermetal is exposed. We don't want to use that because it's going to keep degrading. So we are going to use a new one that does not have pitting. I also looked at your, oh gosh, where did I put it? Hang on. Also, you will remember that your click spring was missing. Now, one of the things the click spring does that's very important is the click spring stops the entire mainspring from unwinding. It's real important that be in there. Otherwise, you're just not going to keep full power. So the guy apparently lost your click spring. So what he did to try to hold it so it wouldn't turn backwards is this is the pawl lever. This thing goes around and around. And on this wheel right here, and he bent it to make it grip harder, and the teeth were worn out, and ditto for your reduction gear, which is right here. So, moral of the story is you can't overcome missing parts. So those are different. So that's pretty much about it. Movement, let's look at those numbers again. Now it's tomorrow. Is now, well, I don't know. It's the morning of the mid-morning of the next day. And this has just been sitting here running in, doing its thing. So it's about, half power. A little more. Well, let's go talk about it. And there we go. Pardon me. So this watch, it's original. I did what you requested, and basically, I kept the watch as original to itself as possible. That includes the original hands. Now, you had some moisture in here, and the loom sunk a little bit, but it's not discolored at all, and it's not in danger of falling out. It's not interfering with anything, and it's original. So I left it. It's a watch that lived an active life. After it had the service dial and service hands, I mean, the person obviously kept using it. Hang on just one second. Sorry about that. I had a visitor for a moment. Shh. Willow, I'm talking. Anyway, so it's original to itself, and these, it's nice. It has wear, but it is original, and it runs beautifully. And there it is. The other material, here is your old, bad mainspring, which is total junk. Here's all this stuff. You'll find everything in here, including the bad screws and the bad cap jewel. The bad crown is in here, the bad weight, all that stuff. And you are, of course, you're going to get all that back, and you can look at that and just say, fantastic. The other watch, the other 6309, I've sort of put back together, but there's that. The bezel, ooh, look, it does run. Wow. This case is pretty hacked up. The crown won't screw down at all, and the rotating ring won't
stay on. I put it on and it just comes off. So this case is pretty well roached. Willow, that's real loud. Are you done?
No.
What do you mean no?
Wait until the
Ugh. Anyway, I can't snap this on at all. So, I mean, you certainly can turn this.
Sorry about the noise.
You certainly can turn this in for credit. So that's not a problem there. And we'll talk about those numbers. Obviously, the loom has issues, and the metal, but that's fine. The most important thing, you've got this one ready to go. And I thank you so much for your patience and for everything. I thank you so very much. Thank you.